Hi, it's Kai and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video about some of the recent PR products that I have gotten sent, and the main reason that I'm doing this is because I'm not really like a fan of just outright PR haul unboxings. I feel like, yeah, it can raise awareness about like what's new in the beauty community or fragrance community or whatever community you're a part of. It can, again, say what's new, but it can't really tell you like what the experiences were with the products, how you felt about them, and things like that. So I wanted something that was really more of like a summation and kind of like review of the PR products that I've gotten sent and have been trying out recently. So that is this. I know it's also like a, you know, first world problem. I think that's the saying for it, or the appropriate way of saying that, but it's like a first world problem to be getting sent a good amount of PR, but at the same time it also makes it a little bit difficult to review things as they come in. So I do have a lot of like fragrance items here, some skincare, one makeup product, and again, let's just stop the chatter and get into it because we've got quite a few products here and I want to get through them in as timely a fashion as possible. I'll start with the one makeup product, and it was from Skeepers, which is where you essentially do a video in return for trying out a product or for getting sent a product. So I had gotten the Rem Beauty, this is their eyeliner marker, I think it's like at the borderline or something like that, eyeliner marker, and I got this a few months ago. This is the shade Foxy, which is a deeper blue, and I got this, or actually the packaging makes it look like it's gonna be more of a navy blue, and that should be where we start. I got this, tried it out, did a TikTok video. I can see if I can find that and link it below. But the thing that I noticed and what my overall overarching kind of attitude towards this is that, especially after watching other people's videos about it after I, you know, reviewed mine, had my thoughts out there and was like, okay, you can lift the embargo on watching reviews about this so that you can make sure that your review is as unbiased as possible and all of that. So once I started doing that, I noticed that this did look like the shade on the tube on lighter skin, and of course people are going to be like, oh, of course that's color theory, like lighter skin that has less pigment is going to have more of a blank base for a color to show up on. But it's also just kind of like, in the year of our Lord 2024, I want navy blue liner too. Like, I want a liner that's going to show up navy blue on me as well. And it may just be that this type of, you know, felt tip liner formula isn't going to be able to handle the amount of like pigment, is what I'm thinking. Because when I'm thinking of some other liners like the Super Vivids and stuff like that, they're usually eyeliners that come in a little pot of some sort and like you dip into it. So I don't know if maybe just like the packaging, which is more convenient, and I do like, and I will say that you can get a really precise line with this. I'm kind of interested to see how deep their black shade is, because it's something where I'm just like, this was such an easy liner to use that I could see myself potentially wanting to try their black shade once I finish, you know, one of the numerous black liners that I already have. And I also say that because the formula is pretty long wearing in my opinion. Like, I was wearing this during the dead of summer when I originally tried it, was in the dead of summer in the Georgia heat. So it didn't budge for me really. There was maybe like a few little spots where the liner just kind of looked a little bit ate away, but on the whole it looked really good. So again, it had really long lasting power in my opinion. I just wish the color showed up a little bit more vibrantly. So it's like a 50-50 kind of product for me. The sole facial skincare product I have is the Real Miracle Clear Brightening Triple Acid Exfoliant, and I featured this I think in my skincare routine video where I had used it for the first time, didn't know how to use it, did not know that this was a mask and not like, I don't know why I thought triple acid exfoliant For me, it was giving serum, but it's not a serum. It's a mask, and it's a really good one. The mask that I could say it's comparable to, just based on the texture of it, the way that it acts for my skin, even the way that it smells, are some like the Drunk Elephant TLC Framboos, which I know, like, Drunk Elephant is stupid expensive. It's a brand that I don't really purchase from because they do like the mean girl marketing thing, and that's just not really my vibe necessarily. But I had tried that mask in the past, like years ago, and I absolutely loved it for texture on my skin. But I feel like this is that mask without it being so tingly, because admittedly that mask, the original TLC Framboos, or I shouldn't say the original because they're not marketing this as an alternative to it at all, I'm just drawing that comparison, but the original one definitely gave you a little bit of that like tinglingness on the face, and it could be a little bit unpleasant in that way. This one, unless I use it on a day where I honestly hadn't been like keeping up with my skincare the days before and my skin was a little bit drier, even with the weather getting cold just out of nowhere here in Georgia and my skin automatically being impacted by that, there's been times where this has tingled a little bit, but it is only a tingle. It never burns like some other products, you know, like exfoliating masks like these can. It also kind of reminds me of the bubble mask that I really like, which the bubble mask I always said reminded me of the TLC Framboos. So really it's just like, you know, an alternative of an alternative, a dupe of a dupe. Again, they're not being marketed that way at all. This is just being marketed as a face exfoliant. But I just really noticed, like, every time I use it, one of two things happen. Either I use it where my skin is technically clear, but I feel like my skin is dull and congested. I can see like build up in the pores around my nostrils and things like that, blackheads, all of that stuff, and it like brings all of that out to the surface. Or I use it when I am already breaking out a little bit, and it helps just like suck everything up. And well, you know, not suck everything up, but by the time I wake up the next morning, because I only do this at night, obviously, with an exfoliant, and with any exfoliant, what do you want to do? Yeah, you better have said use sunscreen. So we do not want to be making our skin super sensitized to the sun and increasing our risk for cancer. That's not what we're trying to do. That aside, again, I noticed like if my skin is already breaking out, that the next day my breakouts just look a little bit less angry. The smaller kind of like texture bumps have largely gone away. It's just a really good effective product, and Rael is not super expensive, so that is one that I could see myself repurchasing even after. Like, I would love it if they sent me more of them once I'm done with it, of course. Like, who wouldn't want a brand to like keep sending a product that you actually really like from them? But if they don't, that's one that I would spend my own money on. Moving on to some body care. These aren't technically PR. I actually won them in a giveaway, but I still wanted to include them in here because I was like, otherwise I may not talk about them for a while. So this is the Dead Cool body scrub and body lotion from their body care line that they came out with, and I believe they revamped it as well. I want to say that at one point they came out with like hand and body wash and then like hand and body lotion, and I want to say that they have just separated everything out, and now it's just like body wash, body scrub, body lotion, hand lotion, stuff like that. So for the body scrub, this, it's not like, to me, a very great scrub. It has these like I don't know how to show the consistency really. It's really hard to get it to focus on this, but I don't know if you can see the little beads that are in there. It is not like a micro bead situation. I'll have to look online and, you know, annotate this video with what that is exactly, but it's just not like the ratio of the whatever for the scrubbing, for the exfoliating, versus the amount of like the, you know, kind of more body wash part of it that it's the little beads are being suspended in. They're not micro beads, but I'm gonna say micro bead or beads just for not getting tripped up in this part of the video any further. But like the ratio is very off. I feel like with how lightly exfoliating these beads are in particular, that there need to be more of them in the formula, because the way that I use this, honestly, especially after like the first 2 or 3 uses of it, and I realized that I wasn't liking it as a body scrub, I just kind of use it as like a lightly exfoliating body wash. Where that comes in handy is the fact that the perfume on this, or like the fragrance on this, is freaking amazing. It not only like scents up the entire bathroom when I use it, but it actually does stick around on my skin. And this is their extra milk scent in particular, which is amber, bergamot, and white musk. And it's basically just supposed to be a more intense version of their milk scent, which I do have and I've tried. There's something about extra milk that smells maybe just a little bit warmer to me, and I don't know if it's just because I've only tried it in the body scrub formula and if I would feel that way about like other formulations of it, but that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. So I probably would not purchase this myself with my own money, but I mean, I will enjoy it while I have it. I just feel like I need something that's a little bit more exfoliating. Then there's also the body lotion in extra milk, which I unexpectedly like. It can be a little bit difficult to impress me with lotions because I have generally pretty dry skin, and no lotion for me is going to be like 24-hour, 48, like the super long amount of moisture. I'm always going to need to add more moisture the next day or at the end of the day, or you know, in the morning or whatever. But this was very nice and nourishing. It had like maybe a slightly like thinner texture than what the EOS ones. Here I am putting it on just because it smells good and it feels nice, but it has like a slightly, and I use the EOS ones because I have talked about those a lot, especially over on TikTok, and those are some of my favorite lotions. But it has a slightly thinner texture, but it's still really nice and nourishing. And again, the same scent as with the body scrub like stands with this. The scent just goes crazy. It lasts a long time. It lasts on clothing. Like you could genuinely wear this as your perfume, like as your lotion, and that's not even with like layering it. I haven't even opened up the body wash yet, so this is just saying like walking around with the body lotion, it will, like, you can definitely smell it. It's a little bit more on the pricey side, but if I wanted something to match my, you know, perfumes, if I wanted something a little bit more luxurious, I could definitely see myself repurchasing this with my own money. Then another really good set of body products are from Future Society. I specifically have their Solar Canopy scent of their hydrating body cream and their gentle body cleanser, which I am about here on the body cleanser. I've used this quite a lot. It has like this really punchy, like solar floral type of scent, but it's also like kind of citrusy, and I think there's some maybe like pink pepper or like, you know, that type of, you know, scent to it. It's just really, really good. I said that it kind of smells like a more tart version of Delina, but I honestly don't even feel like that's true. It almost, to me now, smells more like Hibiscus Mahajad, but like, again, a more tart version of that. And I don't even really like Hibiscus Mahajad, but I love this. And I really like the perfume as well. I've talked about the perfume already, like over on TikTok, which of course I can do more perfume content. I want to do more perfume content over here, but it's sometimes hard to like figure out how to make my perfume content more long form, because sometimes I'm just like, here's this fragrance, this is what it smells like to me. you know, that's it. So yeah, but let me know if there's any particular fragrance videos you would like to see from me. So the Future Society Solar Canopy Hydrating Body Cream, I actually have not used this yet, but I have used their body cream in a different scent, and I like that scent, had it for a little while. I also really like the texture of these two. They're, again, a little bit more on the thinner side, but still substantial and creamy, and don't leave me feeling super dry. I do feel like these maybe wear off a little bit quicker, and I'm needing to like reapply a little bit more before my skin feels super dry, but on the whole, really enjoy this. And the Solar Canopy scent is just as, you know, fragrant on that. Going back to the body wash, it's something that just like the body scrub from Dead Cool, it really smells up my bathroom. Like I can still smell it lingering after I've already toweled off and, you know, changed my clothes, and then I just like walk past my bathroom. I can still smell it. The last of the body care are the newer, I guess they're not completely new anymore since we're well into the holiday season, but the newer EOS holiday limited edition lotions. So for my least favorite one, it is whipped shea and sugar, and this has notes of brown sugar, blush peony, and creme brulee, and it just, to me, kind of smells, there is like this scent of almost like a candy, but I can't put my finger on exactly what candy it smells like. But then there's also just this kind of generic like sweet floral type of scent that it has. I don't feel like it's nice, it's pretty, but I don't feel like it's anything to write home about. I definitely think their other scents are a lot better, and even with it being like just a generic floral, sweet floral, like I just feel like all of the notes of this kind of get muddled up, and I don't really smell like creme brulee or brown sugar specifically. Like it, again, it just kind of smells like sweet flowers or like sweet hard candies or something like that. Then there is my second fave, which is actually the one that I wore earlier today, is Sparkling Amber, which has notes of cotton candy, Kir Royale, and ambroxan. And this definitely has like that Baccarat Rouge DNA to it, which in a body care product, I feel like I don't mind as much. There's been one of my friends over on Perfume TikTok who has been talking about like, oh my gosh, why, like I don't want to smell another Baccarat Rouge, Emily or Perfume Disco, but she's just like, if I have to smell another Baccarat Rouge like dupe or alternative or something with the same DNA, and it's just like, this has that because it's ambroxany and like kind of that sweet, you know, sweet plus ambroxan mixture. But there's something in here that also reminds me of their which one that they came out with, the lotion that they came out with earlier this year, the pink champagne one. It kind of has this just like fruity, musky tone to it, where honestly when I put them on the skin, they kind of start to smell the same. So again, it smells good, but it's not necessarily like, I feel like I can get most of the same effect with the pink champagne one, and I like the fruity aspects of that one a little bit better. My personal favorite, which I feel like would be controversial, because like I feel like peppermint, like mint in perfume, okay, we get some mint here and there, but peppermint specifically, I feel like we're just never hearing from her. So Peppermint Cashmere, this is again my favorite. It has notes of candy cane, marshmallow fluff, and sandalwood. And it smells just like all of that. It is like pepperminty, it is like light, fluffy. It is so incredible. I personally think it's the best scent that they've ever come out with, and I surprisingly am able to mix it with so much, mixing it with vanilla fragrances, mixing it with like more coffee fragrances, kind of more cardamom, chai spice fragrances. Like I mix it with a little bit of everything, and every single time it comes out to be a great combo. So I actually kind of hope, even though I feel like people are going to be like, oh no, peppermint is more of a like seasonal type of thing. I hope this becomes permanent, and if it doesn't become permanent, can they either send me everything that doesn't sell so that I don't have to ever run out of this, or just like make sure that it comes back in the holidays every year so that I can have one, because again, I absolutely love this one. I love it so much that I actually started like playing around with my perfumer's materials, trying to make a fragrance kind of inspired by this, or inspired by like, you know, the peppermint mocha twist feel, you know. So anything that gets your creative juices flowing like that is a plus in my book. Lastly, going through the perfumes, which you can see most of these like in individual videos over on TikTok, but some of them I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, which is again the purpose of this video. The first one though I have talked about a few times, Honey Sweet by Professor Perfume and Sniff. This is just such a beautiful, aromatic, sweet honey fragrance, like really photorealistic honey fragrance, but there's also a little bit of that like woody incensiness there. I think the lavender that's in here gives it a little bit of aromaticness, but it doesn't give you like, you know, lavender or like cleaning product lavender. So it's such a beautiful fragrance. It's one where literally every single time I've worn it, I've got complimented on it. I am tempted to wear it tonight, even though it definitely doesn't necessarily match with this lotion that I put on, but I'm tempted to wear it tonight because I'm going out with my sisters, and I would love if like a stranger came up and complimented me on my fragrance, you know. So I feel like that one would be like a surefire compliment getter. Another one that I think would be a surefire compliment getter, and at first when I first tried it and like sprayed it on paper, I was like, I don't really get it. This is Taskeen Caramel Cascade from Paris Corner, and this is supposed to be an alternative or a dupe for Bianco Latte from, what is it, Giardini di Toscana, which I have not tried that fragrance personally, so I can't make the comparison between them. But at first, the honey note that is in this, which again, it's like a caramel kind of honey sweet praline type of fragrance. At first, the honey seems like it's going to be so medicinal. Even sometimes on skin upon first spray, it seems a little bit more medicinal, and definitely when I tried it on paper, it smelled more medicinal. But once it wore off, like on the skin for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, that went away, and you got like the honey caramel, a little bit of like fluffiness coming through. It's a really beautiful fragrance outside of that initially. So again, one that took me a second, took me aback, and then I had to like really, you know, sit with it. And this is just kind of, again, one of those things that's a testament to trying your products on skin, because if you don't try your products on skin, sometimes something is going to not smell the same way, or it interacts with you differently. Another one from Paris Corner is Eternal Coffee, which this one smells literally exactly like a caramel latte. It is photorealistic down to like just the slight caramel drizzle that gets caught in the back of your throat. Like, it's smooth, a little lactonic, it's beautiful. However, this lasts like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, which not all the time do you want your perfume to be beast mode. If I were, say, in college, which is totally something that I would have worn this for, like college, going to study in the library, and wanted to just kind of smell good in my own bubble for the 2 hours that I was at the library, this would be great, because likely I would be coming back to my dorm after studying, changing into something else, and then going to hang out with friends, so I would be able to switch up my fragrance. But if you're a person who wants your fragrance to have longevity, this just doesn't really have it. But it's otherwise a very gorgeous photorealistic latte fragrance, and I think a lot of people will enjoy that one regardless of the longevity. The last two full-size fragrances I have here are from Le Monde Gourmand, which they've been releasing a lot lately, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. Again, first world problem, but it's just kind of like, I feel like almost every month there's a new Le Monde Gourmand package at my doorstep. But anyway, they launched Creme Brulee, which I can't remember which one of these came first. I want to say Creme Brulee came first and then Cerise Riche. Or maybe Cerise, well, obviously the other way would be Cerise Riche and then Creme Brulee. But either way, these have both launched within the last 2 months or so. Honestly, I think within the last month. And Creme Brulee is actually a relaunch of their very popular fragrance. I have a viral video talking about it. And I really enjoy that fragrance. It's one where I said I had originally seen it at TJ Maxx because it was discontinued, and at those kind of like, you know, discontinue type stores. And so I tried it and was just kind of like, this is another musky vanilla scent. I don't feel like it's anything that I need. And then the longer that it wore on my skin, I got more of that like creme brulee, cracked, burnt, you know, topping part of a creme brulee. And I was like, oh, it isn't just another powdery musk. And I went back and had purchased that bottle. So I actually compared an old bottle to a new bottle over on TikTok as well. And I feel like this smells pretty much the same as the original, the bottle that I have, or I shouldn't say the original, but the older bottle that I have. The older bottle that I have smells, of course, a little bit like sweeter and deeper, and even a hint more like woodsy, but I think it's almost woodsy in like a syrup, like not quite syrupy, but just like a touch, because sometimes syrupy can be a little bit sickly sweet. It's not quite there, but it's definitely just a little bit of a thicker, deeper sweetness that almost pulls some woods out of there, at least to me. This one definitely maintains its like lighter, fluffier nature, but I do notice something a little bit nutty in this one that I didn't notice as much of in the other bottle of creme brulee, the older one that I have. So that one I do enjoy. That's another one where I might wear it tonight because I feel like it would be a guaranteed compliment getter. And then we have Cerise Riche, which I like this in theory, but on skin, and it could just be the patchouli because I'm not the biggest fan of patchouli, and this definitely, like, while there's a chocolate note there, so it's kind of like a chocolatey patchouli, it's definitely still an earthy patchouli, and that can kind of translate as being a little dirty sometimes. So either way, Cerise Riche, it has a combination of cherry, chocolate, and that patchouli. The cherry is very pronounced and it doesn't come off as medicinal to me personally. The chocolate is nice. It kind of reminds me of Choco Cherry actually from Dawkins Aroma, if you've ever tried that, but then with patchouli added. So I think if I were to get one of the two fragrances, I would probably get Choco Cherry because, again, I'm not super big on patchouli. It also really smells similar to the Sniff Big Flirt candle that Sniff puts out around what is that holiday, Valentine's Day, which I really like. I liked it so much that I spent like an hour cleaning it out of my carpet and my what do you call it, what is that, my couch, because I had, you know, what do you call it, blown out the candle. My cat decided she was angry because I hadn't fed her. It wasn't time for being fed yet, and she knocked over the wax onto the floor and everything. But I wanted to salvage so much of that candle that I was like scraping it and trying to separate it from their cat hair and putting it back into the container, on top of just generally trying to get a red dye candle out of my carpet, you know what I'm saying? So all that being said, it definitely reminds me of that candle, but instead of the strawberry that is in that candle, it is cherry. And I think I prefer it as like a home product, as like a candle versus a perfume. I just don't see myself getting this much use or like that much use out of that one. And then lastly, this technically isn't PR, but it's one of those samples. Like sometimes you'll get ads for different samples, and I got one for Gucci Flora Gorgeous Orchid, which is one of Gucci's releases this year. And is it pretty? Yes. I feel like I might be becoming a designer perfume slob slightly, because this one and some other ones that I've sampled recently and even like smelled in store and places, I've just kind of been like, they all do kind of smell the same, or they kind of have similar components, or it's like I've smelled this before. And this is one where it smells gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, but is it another kind of like solar floral vanilla fragrance? Yes. Like, I'm not picking out anything that is necessarily so special about this compared to some of the other ones. Could I see myself picking up like a travel size of this? Again, yes, because it's gorgeous. It only has like a hint of that sunscreeniness there, but it's just beautiful. But again, it's just kind of like, I feel like, give me a little bit of something new, like don't play it. And I know that maybe asking that of designer brands because they're mostly focused on what's going to sell well is a little bit of a stretch, but I kind of just want to see just a little bit of things that smell different, a little bit of shaking the table, especially with designer fragrances. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm obviously out of breath, so I'm gonna peace out, but I hope you're staying safe and healthy wherever you are when you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.